If it's just a matter of apologizing and asking forgiveness, would that take all day, 24 hours? That's groveling. I mean, that's like really being desperate. We sinned, we transgressed, we were difficult, we were disobedient, we were rebellious. How many times do we have to say that? And you can say, well, keep saying it until you mean it. Ooh, then it might take a week, not a day. If I knew for sure that all my sins are forgiven, what effect would that have on me? Would I say, oh, what a relief, now I can go back to sinning, start a new account? Or would it make me be much more careful not to slip back into those things that I've been forgiven for? Would it make me so grateful that I would be even better than I ever was before? What would the effect of forgiveness be? So, as we approach Yom Kippur, of course, we're going to ask for forgiveness. And we're confident that we're going to get forgiveness because God is abundantly forgiving. But what effect will that have? So even if we were sure, without a doubt, that we are going to be forgiven, do we still need Yom Kippur? What I mean is, do we still need to do all the fasting and the davening and the praying and the soul searching? Is forgiveness all we want? Or are we dealing with a profound condition of an important relationship that needs a lot of attention, not just erase the slate? So even if we were absolutely sure, yes, we will be forgiven, God forgives. That's what Yom Kippur was created for. Even so, we need to do a lot of thinking and a lot of soul searching and a lot of adjustments made. Because what will the effect of the forgiveness be? Well, that depends on our frame of mind, where our head is at, what we're thinking, what we want. So forgiveness means an opportunity to start fresh. But how do you do that? And what is starting fresh going to bring? Hopefully, a renewed enthusiasm in the proper service. Like in a relationship, if I hurt somebody and they forgive me, well, now I'm going to be more careful, assuming that I wanted their forgiveness. I'm going to be more careful, and the relationship is going to be more meaningful, and I'm going to become a different person. So let's think about this for a moment. If it's just a matter of apologizing and asking forgiveness, would that take all day, 24 hours? That's groveling. I mean, that's like really being desperate. How many times do we have to say, we sinned, we transgressed, we were difficult, we were disobedient, we were rebellious? How many times do we have to say that? And you can say, well, keep saying it until you mean it. Ooh, then it might take a week, not a day. So here's the point. I can ask forgiveness for sins that I committed. I wasn't careful with my honesty. I said something that was dishonest. I lied. Not once, number of times through the year. And now I want to apologize for that. I want to do tshuva. And I want to be forgiven for that. Or I ate something that wasn't kosher. or very doubtfully kosher and whatever. I want forgiveness. I was careless with Shabbos. I want forgiveness. Now we can go through the list, all 613 commandments. Say, yeah, well, I once did that, and yeah, I'm guilty of that, and for that we have a list. It's printed in the prayer book. It's right there in the Mauser. And it follows the alphabet. 2 sins for every letter in the alphabet. So we cover a lot of that. So yeah, you can be apologizing for the occasional sin. Hopefully you didn't spend a year lying. It happened. And you want to apologize and you want to be forgiven for it. But then there's another whole layer of life for which we might want to apologize, and that is the entire flavor, the entire tone of what my life is about. For example, if you're a doctor and you feel like you did not really function or serve with the right attitude, with the right bedside manner, so it's not an occasional thing. In your profession, in your main function in life, you were not as good as you should have been. That's daily, that's constant, that's your life. So if a person says, I think last year my life failed, I failed at life. Not because on a number of occasions I lied or a number of occasions I did things wrong. Those are just incidents. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be great if the only thing I need to apologize out of all the things I did a whole year last year is like 7 events? Okay, 12 events, 30 events. 30 mistakes, 30 misdeeds in a year? I'm a pretty good person. That's a good record. But if I have a profession, if I have a family, if I have a relationship that is the center of my life, and I failed it, not on occasion, the whole thing was just not up to par. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't being sincere. I wasn't giving it my best. That regret is not written on the page, at least not explicitly. If you take a look at the list of sins, long list, they don't really describe violations of commandments. It's more like the manner of sin. For example, sins that I committed carelessly, sins that I committed verbally, sins that I committed irresponsibly, sins that I committed with foolish speech, sins that I committed absent-mindedly, even sins I committed in confusion, in panic, sins I committed against parents. It doesn't say which sin or which act. So if you look at the list, you get a very distinct impression. These are not acts. These are all flaws in a relationship. To put it in different words, there are sins that I committed. But then there is so much of life that I omitted. I did not devote myself properly. I didn't give it the attention it deserved. I was not as sincere as I should have been. That's not something I did. That's something I failed to do. And in which area of life? At the very center of my life. See, that is a whole different kind of regret. So yes, you can make resolutions. I will be more careful with the food that I eat. I'll be more careful with not telling lies. I'll be more careful with not hurting people. But those are just occasions. What about your life itself? Now, imagine somebody says, well, that's exactly my problem. I don't know what my life is. I don't have a life. Well, then apologizing for your mistakes is not going to do it. The real remorse and the real regret is, I didn't live my life. I didn't live it fully. I didn't live it properly. If I failed at life itself, because I didn't live it fully, I didn't live it sincerely, I wasn't best at what I'm best at. That remorse, that regret, that's life-changing, life-giving.